home-based earning. How do we earn our resources and how do we spend the resources? Islam encourages us to work, and that's why Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has said, it's better for one of you to take a rope and bring a bundle of firewood on his back and sell it, than to ask people for something. So Islam discourages begging. Most people keep on saying that we the Muslims are not rich, we the Muslims are poor. And we keep finding most of the imams, you find most of our imams, most of our shepherds, and the mosque is begging. I don't have food at home, you should help me. But Islam, on the other hand, is telling us we should work. We should strive to work so that we are able to help our families. The Prophet Muhammad himself was a businessman, and he also got married to Habiiba, who was also a business lady. So who is you who thinks that you should just go to a mosque and request for people to give you something to go and feed your family or even feed yourself? This means that each one of us is expected to work and earn a living. That also takes us to the hadith which says, Allah loves the believer who works and earns his livelihood. So if Allah is telling every believer to earn so that they are able to get the money and take care of themselves, what happens to the people who tell us that women are not supposed to work? Does that mean that women are not believers? If women are also categorized as believers, then that means each one of us is expected to work to ensure that we earn a living that can help our children, that can help ourselves, and that can help our deen as Muslims. Why do we strive to earn? We strive to earn because we want to preserve our dignity. It is on rare occasions that you find a poor person so much respected in public. So every time you do not have money, every time you are poor, there are high chances people will not understand, they will not appreciate your views. People will appreciate so much those who have the money as compared to those who do not have the money. We also work so that we are able to safeguard our religion. We all know very well that Islam encourages us to pay zakah and to also give sadaqah. So how are you going to fulfill those obligations if you are poor? How are you going to fulfill those obligations of giving sadaqah? Sadaqah is not an obligation. It is encouraged that each one of us should get something and give to someone who does not have. But you who doesn't want to work, there are high chances that you will not have anything that you're going to give to another person. And that's one of the reasons to why we are expected to work. Another reason to why we need to work, in as far as safeguarding our religion is concerned, is that if you have money, it becomes very hard for you to even think of converting to other religions. We have had so many poor Muslims who go to churches because they believe in the church they are giving. So they choose to convert simply because they are poor and they want those people to support them. Either support their children, educate their children through compassion, or to support them in terms of food at home. But if you are earning, if you are working and you're able to do all those things for yourself, you can never think about changing from your own religion. Something happens with our own children. If you're able to support your family, if you're able to support your children, it becomes very hard for your children to leave your religion. And because of that, it becomes easier for you to safeguard the religion. But how are you going to safeguard your religion if you do not have anything that will promote and also safeguard safeguard the religion in terms of money. You are unable to take your children to school. You are unable to give them the necessary requirements. You are unable to feed them. All this, they are getting it from people from another religion. So working, earning is very much important because it also helps us to safeguard our religion. It also helps us to safeguard our wealth. And that's one of the reasons to why you find the more richest people are the ones who are working more and more and more. Because if you choose not to work because you have gotten $1 million, then what happens tomorrow? There are high chances that you will not have that $1 million that you are talking about if you do not safeguard it by working more and more. On the day of judgment, each one of us will be asked about how they earned their money and how they spent their money. Much as Islam encourages us to work, it still questions us. If we are telling you to go and work, it doesn't mean that you should go and steal for you to be able to have money. It doesn't mean that you should go and get engaged in haram activities for you to be able to get that money. And that's why the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ tells us that on the day of judgment, there are 4 aspects. There are 4 things that a human being is going to be asked, that a human being is going to be accountable for. 1, his life and how he spent it. That life that Allah gave you, how are you spending it? How are you using it? Are you just seated there? Or if you're doing something, what are you doing specifically? His knowledge and how he is using it, or how he used it. Right now we are giving you this knowledge, but how are you going to use it? If you choose to keep quiet with what you're going to learn from here, then on the day of judgment, you're going to be asked the information that you got from the 38th Ramadan conversion. How did you use it? We have some of our brothers, for example, the students who are here. In class, you may have understood a concept very, very well. Then when it comes to discussing with your colleagues, yes, you discuss with them, but you keep some information to yourself, so that during examination time, you're the only one who passes with flying colors. That is not acceptable. Someone will say, yes, for me, I discuss with my friends, and therefore I'm sharing the information, I'm sharing the knowledge. But they'll ask you about that exact knowledge that you kept to yourself, and you refuse to share it with your friends. The third one is how we use our body, the body that you have, and how you used it. You know very well, each one of us understand the different body parts that we have. The hands that you have, how did you use your hands? How did you use your eyes? Are you this kind of person who is always on pornography, and that is the only thing you're feeding your eyes with? How did you use your mouth? Are you the person who is gossiping all the time? You're gossiping about your friends. They are going to ask you about your mouth. They'll ask you about your legs. Where are you taking your legs all the time you're moving? All the time you're walking, where are you going? They'll ask you about that. So as we are getting so much thankful to Allah for everything that He gave us, we should be mindful that on the day of judgment, all these things, we are going to account for them. And lastly, your wealth. This money we are saying each one of us should work. On the day of judgment, they are going to ask you, how did you get your money? How did you get your wealth? And how did you spend it? So the aspect of earning in Islam is so much critical. But again, the aspect of how we get our money is also so much critical that we really need to pay attention to those aspects. In one of the hadiths, the Prophet Muhammad tells us, time will come when a person will no longer care about whether their wealth has been lawfully or unlawfully acquired. That time will come. because we are preaching, each one of us should ensure that they go and earn a living. There is that person who will say, for me, by hook or crook, I'm going to get money. And every time someone says, by hook or crook, I'm going to do this, I keep asking myself questions. If it comes to earning, by hook or crook, you're going to get the money. How? Because Islamically, everything you're supposed to get should be through halal means. So that means, in good terms, you're going to get money through halal means. But when you say by all means, that by all means means positive and negative. So what is the other negative aspect that you're talking about? If you say by all means you're going to get money, positively you're going to look for money through halal means. Negatively, how are you going to look for that money? Literally, that may mean that one, you're going to lie so that you're able to get the money. Two, you're going to steal for you to be able to get the money. And the last one, which is more dangerous, is you're going to kill. Haven't we seen people who kill others because they want to get money? To the extent that even some children kill their parents because they want to inherit their wealth. But Allah said they are going to ask you about how you acquired that wealth. So as we are talking about money, we should be mindful on this hadith that the Prophet told us, time will come that someone will not care on how they are getting the money, whether they are getting it lawfully or unlawfully. Allah loves those believers who labor to earn a living through lawful means. So as we are encouraging you here to go and work,